and constitutional amendments. It also seeks to enhance public understanding and awareness regarding electoral reform and compile and present citizen-derived recommendations to the National Assembly and INEC for consideration. This program is brought to you by Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, PACA, with support from MacArthur Foundation. Electoral reform in Nigeria is necessary for advancing democratic consolidation, especially given the country's history of electoral challenges. The introduction of Electoral Act 2022 marks a significant step forward, featuring the bimodal voter accreditation system and electronic result upload. These reforms are designed to increase transparency, reduce fraud, and ensure that results are reported quickly and accurately by emphasizing transparent party primaries and improving judicial handling of election disputes. The Act aims to bolster public trust and integrity in the electoral process. Despite these advancements, several challenges could affect the reform's success, including technological limitations, political resistance, and logistical issues in remote areas and communities. The ultimate effectiveness of these reforms will rely on sustained commitment from political leaders, civil society groups and organizations, and voters to uphold democratic values and address any emerging problems. Ongoing evaluation and adaptation will be crucial for fully realizing the benefits of reforms and strengthening Nigeria's democratic framework. To further explore these issues, we're privileged and opportune to be joined by Right Honorable Dr. Ossai Nicholas Ossai, a former member of the House of Representatives who represented the Ndokwa Ukwani Federal Constituency in Delta State. Dr. Ossai, with his doctorate in public administration and extensive experience in public service, is known for his role as a consensus builder and his commitment to advancing legislation that enhances national development and electoral reforms. His insights into the impact of these reforms on Nigeria's democracy are invaluable for understanding their implications for democratic consolidation. Comrade Dr. Right Honorable Ossai Nicholas Ossai,
welcome to the program. It has been a great journey between me and you, Eze.
Welcome.
I'm from Nance.
Yes, when I was informed that you will be coming, I was excited because of my rich understanding of your background. Having been majority leader in the Delta State House of Assembly, having been different things in the National Assembly, chairman ethics committee, chairman treaty protocols, and what have you, and all those leadership positions that you've occupied have prepared you for, the challenges that we face. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you, and so, thank you, Nigerians.
What are the most significant institutional roadblocks you think that hinder the establishment of strong democracy in Nigeria?
You know that before the 1999, when democracy came into power, there were a lot of issues. First of all, you're looking at military mentalities that has engulfed our political class. So there's a stiff competitions among the leaderships of all political parties. That also is a big roadblock. You are looking at ethnic strife, ethnicity, religion. All those creates a lot of problems. Security. These are a big problem to democracy because areas there are securities, there's little participatory democracy there. Areas of religious issues, it causes a lot of problem, and sometimes you can't get the best leadership. So those are roadblocks. When I say people are Democrats, People are Democrat because they think differently. Like in the United States of America, you don't talk about ethnicity. You don't talk about religion. Religion plays no role in terms of the politics of America today. So those are key issues. Sometimes political class lean towards their own ethnicity in order to enhance.
Yeah, but politicians all over the world would always want to take, if you like, even if it's dubious advantage to get to power.
Now, do you know
like
this
the US where you talked about, there are issues. If you are black and Latino and Hispanic, those issues are there. They are strong, but they ride over them and are able to. So I agree with you that we have religious insecurity. These are fundamental roadblocks. But I know that in your time in the National Assembly, you were one of the most, you had the highest number of bills really for a period in terms of processing bill, which means your extensive understanding of some of these challenges that we face. But what we want to know is what are those strong, these ones you mentioned are there. There is nothing you can do about people playing them up.
So when there's difference between a roadblock and challenges of governance.
Yes.
You're talking about challenges of governance, you talk about leadership, you talk about corruptions, you talk about independence of the judiciary. There's a little difference between them. When you're talking about challenges, we are talking about different issues. Competitions among the political class bring about leadership that is a little bit corrupt, in all aspects. Leadership that the rule of law will not govern, which is part of the challenges in terms of when you're talking about challenges of governance. So we found out that this competition, this ethnicity, has influence on leaders that emerged. And those leaders that emerged, Nigerian leaderships, they have this kind of framework of mind. I'm coming to make money. Some of us who entered from the activist level, we came into governance, we feel that Nigeria must be built, through consensus. And it is in that mindset that I came in. It's okay. Could you imagine that I sponsor even an university in Kano? Yeah. Invest in Kano. Because I just feel Kano deserve this kind of university. I sponsor issues that borders on the Muslim aspect. Because I feel
that had nothing to do with your faith.
That has nothing to do with my faith. But I feel there should be a balance factors. So it's a mindset of leadership. A very wrong leadership mindset beats corruptions. And when you beat corruption, there's no policy of government that is going to go right. So these are obstacles, these are challenges of governance. Different from the challenge or roadblocks of when you talked about democracy. You are talking about democracy, democratic consolidation. How do you consolidate democracy when the culture of ethnicity build up even in appointment of people who are going to man one position or the other?
So the building of a nation will have to thrive above those.
Yeah.
You left the National Assembly after the 8th Assembly.
I left just last year.
Yes, so this is the
after the 9th
assembly. That's where you left, and the issue of electoral reforms have been on the front burner very strongly. With the experience, with the array of experience that you and some of your colleagues who are former members of the National Assembly, how can you contribute to, issues around electoral reform?
I think extensively we'll be able to chop out laws extensively by liaising with civil society, to bring about laws that is revolutionary. But now there's still a little bit a lacuna that has to be cured. And that aspect is internal democracy of political party. That's one of the key, issues that we have to look into. And to surpass that, we should be able to introduce independent candidacy. Independent candidacy in our electoral laws. Because that probably will make political class to sit down. Electoral law that does not well guided by registers of political party cannot breed a participatory democracy within the internal democratic nature of political parties. Now, we are talking about appointments of INEC chairman.
National
Commission of INEC chairman. The appointment should not reside on the president. There might be extensive commission that people can apply it, and extensively, independently, looked at the credentials of people who are applying to be chairman of such body, because such bodies matters a lot on transparency. If you want to bring,
but I know the process of the president does not appoint.
No. You see, the appointment of the chairman of the electoral body is the chairman that recommends with the confirmation.
So it comes back to you people at the national.
No, with the confirmation of National Assembly.
So that's what I'm saying.
So when you talk about appointment, it's an appointment. National Assembly confirmed. So they are kind of a two prongs.
No, because these are the enlightenment program. I would like to use the right words.
It's okay.
The president nominates.
Thank you.
And sends to the National Assembly
for ratification.
Yeah. So if there are challenges with the appointments, the expectation is that the National Assembly will do the due diligence and reject and say no, because truly you are representing the people. You are the eye, the ear of the people. And so the president gets this because the race report on which that is predicated talks about NJC, that the NJC should be the appointing authority, yes, and all of those. Yes. But the contemporary concerns around neutrality also means that Section 14 of the Constitution, which creates the NJC, is also the one that creates INEC.
Yeah, but at the same time,
there are commissions.
Yeah, no.
So one commission cannot.
No, at the same time, you see, the party in powers controls the legislature. Oftentimes, because, like, take example from APC today. You have an APC president. You have an APC National Assembly that controls National Assembly. So definitely.
Okay, we also had a PDP president.
Yes, and we also have a PDP controlled National Assembly.
Okay.
So we had that. So there's a collusion in the process of appointment and confirmation. So take it from that body completely, so that the body that will originate it will be independently, aside the political class. When I want to, that's a recruitment process. You just talked about recruitment process. A strong meritocracy within the recruitment process produce a great performance. All you need to do, if NJC recommends to the National Assembly for proper confirmations, it makes it that the person that will become the chairman of that particular body.
You were in the National Assembly.
No, I suggested this.
No, I know. I know you were in the National Assembly. Yes. What plays in the National Assembly? If Honorable Ossai is nominated today, the senator representing your area will begin to respond to which part of Delta. Those issues, you raise them. How do you eliminate those kind of things?
You see, I have always raised a lot of concern about that issues. When you make an appointment of a parliamentarians for confirmation in National Assembly, probably recommend such positions so that questions can be asked, and you can bring out the best of such, person to be able to do justice to it. That's what I feel. But I feel that an independent body should recommend the appointment of any electoral management head. That's what I feel, and that will remove collusion within the party system.
What's exciting is that we're talking to somebody who is not just a theoretician.
Yeah, I'm just being practical.
No, that's what I'm saying. There is difference between you're talking about it and you've been in the heat of it.
Been in the system,
you've grown elections from the subnational to the national, so you have first-hand experience about elections. There are conversations about having pictures of candidates in the ballot box. What do you think, from your practical experience, do you think that will assist the voters in
I think
making
it will. I think it's the best thing. Not only leaving party logos. If you are contesting an election, your picture should be there, so that people who are not well educated, people who knows you by your picture, knows you by your name, they can make independent choice, of the candidates they are supporting. Some people might not know the party logos, but they will know your face, and you are the one contesting. So I believe that also should be introduced in the electoral system to bring about clear transparency.
I agree with you, but what about the litigious nature of Nigerians, where if there is the simple error of not including, you remember what was happening at some point?
I know,
when some parties
when court judgment will come before even a day to the election,
and they will take you to the Supreme Court, just because they are party logo. I
think the law should be able to define the process when such litigation of pre-election should end, even before elections. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
So it gives INEC rooms to be able to properly conduct a free and fair election. But the people who vote, the power belongs to the people. They are the one who are going to cast the vote. So putting the pictures of candidates are very germane. I think the National Assembly should think to that direction.
Why didn't you think about that?
Yeah, we did. But you see, oppositions at a certain level will make you probably what we are projecting not to
see the light of. But I think with advocacy now that can.
Yeah, I think that can be. I believe that.
What do you have? And I know you've traveled extensively. Do you have any example? Because I know Liberia is a small country. Liberia's voting strength is the voting strength of Imo State, and so when people cite Liberia, and you know that we have 96 million prospective voters. That's huge in terms of costs. What does that mean for us? Because it also mean more the ballot box will be heavier. It will require.
I think we should be able to advocate issues of electronic voting system. I think we are mature to that extent. We begin to bring about electronic voting system, and probably you put individuals these things not only in the ballot paper. It will enhance a lot in terms of that. So it costs a lot to be able to produce with picture. Yeah, but you can be able to, party logos are within those realms. You can put a picture to. People can see the picture attached to the party logo, and it makes sense.
Well, we are a complex democracy. We are
not complex. It's just that it is the law that introduced a different culture of voting system. When you make a law and you do advocacy on the law and you make sure that the grassroots knows what you are talking about. In those days during the military regime, there's what we call this particular position that Jerry Garner headed. Is it orientation? Mansa. They were advocating. We were young at that time, very small, but we were listening to the Mansa. We're always happy because they're always there every day. They talked about it every day, and it's there. So if the military people who are not democratic in nature can go to that extent, what stops the political and the democratic structures not to go to that extent?
Yeah, but it also comes back to you in the National Assembly. How much do you give to national orientation agencies?
Well, these budgets are it's a budget of national orientation. I have time to investigate even this institution, and I know that very well that there are a lot of money. When you talk about management, then you can look at that. Is National Assembly oversighting it accurately and extracting it very well? Just like when I listened the other day in the radio, and somebody was advocating that civil defense should be given more money. But I'm aware that a lot of money has been given. What oversight has been captured on it? What is the report of several committees that have oversighted money that has been given before? I think those are the proper ways we should scrutinize, not the amount that is given to allowances of National Assembly. We should be shouting.
No, we should shout about that.
No, we shouldn't. Let me tell you why. It is how that allowances are spent that you should talk about. how those allowances are spent is to talk about, because that allowances is within the threshold of 0 point something percent. But if they use it effectively to scrutinize a budget of 27 or 30 something trillion, then the effectiveness and impact to the people will be felt. That's what you should look at. Now, the executive go for monitoring. The constitutionally, executives are not inclined to do oversight. It is the National Assembly that is inclined by constitution to do oversight. But how is Nigeria scrutinizing the oversight of National Assembly? It's a different issue and a different
yes, that's what I'm saying. If you take media, we will fight. I can be sure about that. So, because I have very clear understanding of.
Yeah, I'm an authority in that aspect. That's my area. I can tell you confidently.
Run elections severally.
Yeah. And not only that, I'm well trained theoretically. I'm well trained practically.
I understand that influence of money.
Yeah.
Money in our election. The rule of money. What was your what was your own personal experience?
To me,
and how do we get out? How do we reduce that? Yes.
When we announced, we knew that money is the modern make of the modern democracy. Now,
the modern make
of modern democracy. Yeah, I told you that. And when you know that, look at American politics. They generate their money. But what happened? The electoral body oversight those money if it is properly used. So it's not cornered to individuals' own when you have raised money. I think that is the areas. The INEC is not doing well. INEC is not doing it well. INEC is not doing it well. Enforcement. Because if I can generate, don't put me that National Assembly should not spend more than 500 million. No, I can spend 1 billion. But how am I accountable to that 1 billion? If I want to put my pictures and my distance in Arise, do you know how much it costs? Do you know how much it's going to cost to reach the people, to know me, to define me? So the issue of limitation should be out from the electoral law. But the proper enforcement of every 10 kobo spent in that process should be checked. So that a lot of people will go to the guard room, to the prison. Because that money that is given to you, you will spend it carelessly. It must be scrutinized.
I think it's section 205 of the Constitution that talks about how you domicile the monies that you receive from even outside the country.
Yeah.
There are people who even addressed press conference that they got monies from outside and spent it.
And they are not supposed to.
But that's what I'm saying. And so
so that's interference.
Yes, and this is our law. But you know, at the tick of the election, because you've been there, if you raise that issue as an umpire, if you wield that big stick, it will be seen that you are.
First of all, INEC will start one issue. Every person who is a candidate must open an account and show to INEC how that account is run, how you can generate money from that. If you spend money outside that account, you'll be accountable. You'll be held accountable. So I think those are issues. So electoral law must be well defined, and the processes must also be well defined. Maybe schedule can be added to define those processes, so that at the end of the day, politicians cannot skip it. If you want to generate money, if you are popular, allow the people to support you with cash. You are not meant to bring all the money.
You won election more than 4 times.
Yes.
How did you do?
No, secondly, I won election because I do not wait to election time before I start my campaign. I do many things for people gradually. The money I earn in the National Assembly, I spend only 30% to myself. 70% goes to the people.
Did you do vote buying?
No. See, you don't need a vote buying, because your campaign is the project you are taking to the constituency, and you are doing what is called constituency outreach. And those constituency outreach, you meet with the people. Probably when I was in the National House of Assembly, I go to my outreach office every Monday prior to my engagement in the House of Assembly on Tuesday. So everybody knows that I'm coming on Monday. Every of their problems comes to me in that office on Monday. in that office, I'll be able to solve the one I will solve. I postpone the one I couldn't do to another time I comes. So now the people at the end of the day were urging me to go back for third tenure. I say no, because I promise you people I will do first and second tenure in the House of Assembly, and I kept to it. So even when the governor then was forcing me to go for third tenure, I said no, I don't want. That is a promise I made to the people, and I felt also that the challenges in National Assembly, in House of Assembly, was little. And I needed a bigger platform to be able to, push for my. I watched Williams, legal luminary, a doing of the legal professions. I wanted to be that in the legislature, so I felt I should. The only thing that can make me to be in that kind of space is educate myself, reach out to the people, and solve problems. I think those are the things that when you see me proposing about 56 to 58 bills in the National Assembly, it struck many people. It was my ambition, to achieve.
Wow, we're running on a stretch for the break, but before we go on break, let me ask you.
Yeah.
And this is a provocative.
Please go ahead.
This is a provocative question. The laws around money seem to be very weak.
Yeah.
Because whether it's vote buying or voter inducement, it is kept around the precincts of the polling units.
Yeah.
300 meters to the polling outside. So if you give me food in your house, if you give me money in your house, the law does not capture it. We see politicians doing things that are outrightly voter inducement, 3 months to election, like the ones you talk about now.
No, the law plays with the culture of a people. If you come to my community or you come to my house and you don't bring color, you have gone against my culture. So sometimes democracy, by definition, that's why some people say is a government of majority. It's a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. It's a government of rule of law. So democracy, you see, has no universal definitions, because there are clear different definitions based on those itemized United Nations.
So if I come to your house during elections,
if you come to me, it is by my culture. I will present color to you and wage it
with money.
Yes, it's my culture. I wage it with money. There's a place you also go in my constituency. They don't wage with money. They just put color for you.
We've been talking with Dr. Ossai Nicholas, the former House of Rep member and former chairman of House Committee on Ethics, and has been chairman of different things, majority leader, Delta State House of Assembly at some point. And this is Electoral Reform Hour on the network service of Radio Nigeria. We'll go on a little break. When we return, the discussion will continue.
This is Electoral Reform Hour on the network service of Radio Nigeria. Stay with us.
Are you ready for change? Join the Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, PACA, for the Electoral Reform Hour. This program amplifies electoral reform campaigns and provides citizens with opportunity to make meaningful contributions that will strengthen our electoral process.
I think what we should do and what we've been advocating for is to find a way to harmonize all the biometrics we have been doing in the country so that we have one. If you have your NIMSI card, for instance, you should be able to carry all the data, social security, like it's done everywhere. So when you vote, everything about it is there.
My position is that the result, substantive, the election ends at the polling unit. Once the presiding officer, in the presence of polling agents, in the presence of security men, in the presence of all other stakeholders, including some of the people that voted, counted the scores of candidates and parties openly, entered the results into form EC8A and snapped it, that is the real result. And it is that goes into IREV.
Let's embark on the path to significant transformation and well-informed decision-making together. As the National Assembly, INEC and other stakeholders work towards improving our electoral process, you too can be part of the decision-making process by participating in the radio program.
We are on to Comrade Abdullah Mohammed. I'm calling for Bida Local Government Area Council of Niger State. I'm advocating to federal government or the member constitute to look into this electoral reform. That why should a member be in the house to speak the truth? At the end of the day, what we continue receiving or hearing is to suspend that member and to tell him to join any political party of his choice. Who then are we expecting to come and tell us the truth?
This is Brian Orator from Latin ID State. My idea is that INEC should stand stably as an independent body. Secondly, the local government election should be conducted from the INEC, not from the national level.
Remember, democracy is for the people. Together, we can make a difference. Let your voice be heard in the Electoral Reform Hour, where every opinion matters. PACA, making democracy work for the people.
Thanks for staying tuned. We're back with your favorite program, Electoral Reform Hour, on the network service of Radio Nigeria.
It is still the Electoral Reform Hour, and you can be part of this live program by sharing your comments via the social media platforms on X at paca.ng with the hashtag Electoral Reform Hour, and you can leave your questions and comments for us on Facebook via at paca, PAACA, and our WhatsApp number 0816 8083 424. The phone lines will be open soon. Don't go anywhere. I'd want to continue with you, Right Honorable Dr. Ossai Nicholas Ossai. And we're going to pick up from where we left it.
It's okay.
The journalists, security agents, civil society organizations who are involved in election duty do not have the opportunity to vote, and the number is quite huge, and there is call for early voting. Will you lend your voice to that? Do you think that will help deal with the issue of voter turnout in terms of number and all the rest of it?
I think we are not matured for that for now. Early voting is not mature because we clearly have not even produced a free and fair elections in the existing one we are talking about. We also have failed in terms of total implementation of the laws and guidelines. INEC betrays its own guideline at the middle of the elections sometimes. So is INEC accountable? Is National Assembly have they been able to oversight INEC effectively the way they're supposed to do, and probably recommend for sanctions INEC officials for not being able to implement even the guideline.
But there's the law you made has already put sanctions.
Yeah, they put sanctions.
So but people don't go to prison, don't walk to prison. People complain. As a politician, for instance, I
just feel that National Assembly have not done its own part in terms of oversight.
No, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the law says if you derelict in your duty, there is even a jail term right now for INEC officials who derelict from their duty.
Yeah, so who is prosecuting them?
That's what I'm saying. That if you, as a politician, because the politician is the one that manipulates
I don't think so.
The institutions.
Sometimes,
the institutions.
No, sometimes you give a lot of things to the political class. No. I have contested 5 elections and won 5 elections. Did INEC manipulate it for you? No, the question is this. Do I have a mindset to manipulate an election? No. As an activist, I never had that mindset. As a pastor, I never had that mindset. I told you I do due diligence in terms of before election, I've already known the kind of vote I will get. So the people I defeat, I don't defeat them with small vote. I defeat them very largely. Sometimes
if INEC worked against you, will you have won?
Of course I will win, because INEC has never aided me. Not to talk about working against me. They have never aided me, because I don't canvass for any such things. I do my work, and I will know that this is the kind of vote I will get, because the people, I work towards elections. I don't wait for election time to work. So I believe that every penalty put in the law should be well implemented. We have not even been able to implement those half. We're talking about early voting. Early voting, that means a particular people will just sit down in one room and just be writing the result and changing everything people have voted in. So
but if you want to expand the democratic space, how do you do that? Now, if you cannot get,
you can say 2 days voting. You can say 2 days voting, not early voting. You can do 2 days voting. But now, how will the political class believes in those 2 days voting? Because in between the night, what happens? Do you understand what I'm saying? So there are a lot of issues attached to that.
So so if the bill by Senator Yar'Adua may die.
No, I don't feel that bill is necessary for now. Just like when you are talking about diaspora voting for now. Diaspora voting for now. We have not been able to produce a free and fair elections within the territory called Nigeria.
The one you won, was it not free and fair?
No, listen. No, sometimes people have taken me to court. I took people to court and I proved my case. Because our area's election did not hold and I see INEC person producing a result. It was strange to me. People died that very day in that election. Election did not hold in that time. And before I know, you say you have produced a result. Where did you collect the result? You say you collected it in another ward. Not even in that ward.
So the judiciary stood up for you?
Yeah, the judiciary. I've always seen that if you prove your case effectively, you have a good case. You won't say bribery in the judiciary.
Excellent. I'm dealing with institutional issues.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people who win elections.
Yeah.
Who won election come to say, oh, election was, and then you say, but you won the election, and they said, were you aided by INEC? They said, no, INEC did a good job. And so if INEC did a good job for you when you win,
no, what I'm saying,
no, I'm not just referring to you. Because the conversation is not.
I've just told you that INEC has not produced a really free and fair election generally. That does not mean that there are some key areas the election did not go free and fair. But in general terms, people doubt in many key areas where even younger people of less than 18 years are voting.
But sometimes it is we mix up local government. I've seen a senator.
You came to my local government at a time.
Yes, I've seen a senator.
Did you see manipulation?
No. I've seen local government elections where, because the voter registers don't matter, and people mix these elections together with the beavers that you people introduce.
I think it has improved.
It has improved, and we must, because it's about giving Nigerians confidence that the voter identification theft is being eliminated by the technology that your law that you guys made.
Of course we did.
You can join the conversation by calling 091 50 910 482 091 50 910 You can leave your questions and comments for us on WhatsApp at 08168083 and on X at parker.ng and Facebook at PAACA.
And let me also add something. You know why that issues cannot be taken now? Accurate data has also not been produced.
Let's get this caller. Good evening. This is Electoral Reform Hour on Radio Nigeria.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Ossai.
Thank you.
Good evening, all the cabinet members there. People are speaking very well.
Can we meet you? Okay, Adam West. Adam West, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Adam West. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Is it somebody like Dr. Ossai is the type of person we want? He has done his homework, campaigned before time. He has been doing good to his people. So any day he put a box down in his front that he want people to cast votes for him. In fact, he doesn't need to even campaign. He has already campaigned He hasn't carried out his own campaign. One day we are looking forward to a president like that in this country that will say, come, go ahead, continue ruling until you die. My brother, the electoral reform, we need a lot of things to come on board by the grace of God. You know, I just told you, I said there was instances of somebody who, election that was taking place, and before the result of the election, the result sheets have been written. I don't know. And this same result was called, and the winner declared. It was from the INEC. So actually, if the INEC want to manipulate, they could. But there are areas that are difficult for them. Like this, the area of this Dr. Ossai, I don't think it's going to be easy because he has already been doing well. For people where there's no gutter, he's building for them. Where there's no school, he's arranging for them, and so on and so forth. So definitely, if you want to manipulate this election, people will stand against it. So I pray Nigeria will get it right one day by the grace of God. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Adam West, for the call.
I think to buttress that, like what I was saying, we are going to take it step by step by growing, by consolidating. Consolidation of democracy is not an easy thing. I just make instances when I was telling you about the roadblock. I also failed to mention the issues of revenue sharing. Revenue sharing has become one of the major roadblocks in democratic consolidations. So when we be able to take them step by step, it will go a long way in solving our problem. Election we did in 2003 is not the same we are doing today. It has improved. There's no doubt about that. Unlike the local government own too. You find out the local government there's no transparency in terms of local government elections. No transparency at all. And I believe item 67 or 68 of the concurrent list, the National Assembly can look at those key areas and be able to legislate for local government elections.
The governors would...
No, I'm just telling you, Supreme Court has given a lead to that effect.
I hope it matches with
why I say so.
Autonomy.
Do you know why I say so?
You
know why I say that Supreme Court has given a lead?
Yes.
One, I was the one who put, without sounding too much probably to praise myself, I think Akwa Ibom State, Cross River State, first of all emanated 2 years for local government. But during the time we are doing our own DISEC in Delta State, I pushed him for 3. I moved the motion for 3 years. And it became a national issue, today. And Supreme Court has gone back to 4 years. So I believe, first of all, Supreme Court has been able to interpret, because what brought the local government ought not to have changed, because it's the same thing in 1999. But we felt that local government should have taken 3 years prior to the next elections. So Supreme Court has put standard. Except the constitution is changed, it remains law in the country. And because if you watch states conducting local government elections, if both councillors, one party will win, it's not possible. It's not possible. That's why people are agitating against the state police. So I believe that there is an aspect of the constitution that will give lead to National Assembly to legislate a commission that will conduct local government election.
I think that we have the challenge of always outsourcing our problem.
Hello,
good evening. Can we meet you? This is Electoral Reform Hour on the network service of Radio Nigeria.
Yeah, my name is Shegu across the nation.
Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Akure, Ondo State.
Thank you, Shegu. Can we hear you?
Yeah. It's what I want to speak. You are speaking over there. I myself, a bit like election. I forced myself to go for presidential post because it's not easy to person to sit down with no position itself.
Thank you, Shegu.
That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much, Shegu, for calling in. Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
So I think those are key areas. I try to bring in probably most of these key issues. When we're talking about electoral reform generally.
Yes.
You found out that the commission, when you form that, you'll be able to remove balance powers. Give the power back to the people, because you say democracy is the government of the people.
What about if we form the sex? What about if we put them on the first line charge like we put? What about if we begin to throw in donor funds and
who appoints them
and take
Comrade, I am a participant over the years in local government elections. Because of my exposure as an activist, if I tell you that I like what the states are doing, they are not encouraging consolidation of democracy. Allow a free and fair elections in the local government. You must not get all the council chairmen. To the extent of getting 100%. Yes, to the extent of taking all the councillors. It makes no sense. It makes you a barbaric person.
Yes, where would our people?
Yes.
Where would our people land democracy?
It makes you somebody that is insane. Do you understand what I'm saying? You want elections to go on, and you're announcing results even before the collation of those elections. Does it make sense?
There's a challenge with that.
A big one.
The collaboration with civil society in the electoral reform process seems to have created experts. I like to call it experts who now work in the National Assembly. What do you do with the legislative assistants? What are their role in terms of helping you to make good laws, support you? Because the way it is now, the embedding of civil society so much in the National Assembly is of concern to some of us.
It is not, is it? It is not. Even if you have aides is to do research for you. Now, it depends on the extent of the knowledge of that aide to do research for you. You still have experts in different fields. You have experts in the electoral law. You have experts in drafting. They might not be your aides. So you still need those experts to be able to make good laws. I was trained by an expert in International Law Institute when I was doing legislative drafting. Completely different from legal drafting. So it's a completely different field. So the National Assembly might not be able
Why didn't you train your aides to be
I did. All my aides went for master's degree in different fields. Some went for parliamentary study. Some went for legislative drafting. They have master's degree in those areas. My aides are experts today. National Assembly needs them all over the places. So as I was training myself, I was training them. So I believe that, but there's also a limitation in some key areas. Are they electoral law experts? They might not be, but they might draft. So when you look at into such areas, you source for such experts, so that when you make a good law, you produce a good law for these nations. And that's why they say consensus building, collaboration, synergy matters a lot.
So we are dealing with public trust issues. Because you talked about public trust.
Perceptions sometimes.
Yes. So how do we engage that? How do we change that challenge?
It depends on what the institution you are saying.
For the
entire governance of the country.
No, we can't drag. This program is tailored to those key issues that we talked about, to provide public understanding.
Now, first of all, let's look at these institutions. ANEC as an institution of governance, or agency of government. Do they have some level of trust? Yes. They have been able to produce certain things that give some level of trust. But who audits them? A commission, probably the institution of National Assembly, has not audited very well. It cannot be said to be totally transparent. The essence.
Because if it is that, the perception of the people for the National Assembly is that they
I'm coming.
do not also have the legitimate
They have legitimacy. Section 1888.
Yes.
Section 88 and 89.
Yes.
You see, governs that
authority.
Yes, so they have authority to do oversight. That's why I told you.
Yes.
That even Section 4 that produces them gives them that authority. To make laws and follow up the laws.
Yes.
When there's lacuna. Now, when you have produced an institution like INEC, you must audit them for them to be up and doing. When you fail to audit because you're afraid of your own election,
or maybe they're also auditing them.
No.
Maybe they're also auditing in a way. Maybe they're auditing.
No. You see, I have carried out oversight on many institutions who pay money to the coffer of government. Institution, if I begin to name them, some pay 8 billion within 1 week of directive that they are owing federal government. And when you have such I was probing Chinese agreement, and the extent I went. I don't look at people's faces because I have the mandate of the people to do audit. And it also depends on which chairman such committees. Does he have the capacity to do audit? Or is he afraid of his own when he wants to go to elections?
Or will he go to jail?
No. The issue is that
because we have examples of people in the National
Assembly
who have gone to jail for
No. The National Assembly has performed accreditably very well. The 7th, 8th, 9th Assembly were wonderful. In terms of law, in terms of a certain level of oversight. Now, has the National Assembly been able to benchmark themselves? Because sometimes you have to benchmark yourself based on the level of money that comes to you. So, going forward, I have
security agencies. There are different stakeholders.
Security agencies.
Political parties.
Too much militarization of our electoral, system is also not too good. When you create a level of advocacy before elections, you don't need military men. You need civil police to do that.
Yeah, but you have interagency consultative committee on election.
Yeah, agreed.
Which has agreed, but the military does not. The military is in the outer layer.
No, don't say so.
They are in the outer layer.
We have seen them in the field compromise in the system.
Yeah,
we have seen it. You have been an observer. You know what I'm talking. So there should be, a complete audit at the end of each elections. There should be complete audit at the end of each elections. That audit will show the gap. INEC audits themselves. How can they audit themselves? You can only audit departmental by departmental on your own. But now, the bigger body should be able to audit INEC and to know the level of money spent, if there's gap, if there's one to produce back. Because you can't audit political class, political party without you being audited. I think those are the key issues. We must be able to be transparent in everything we do.
Absolutely.
I'm happy that these days young men are doing oversight on any parliamentarians. Oversight clearly. But they should also hold their head very high. So I believe, comrades, that institutional auditing should be carried out at all times.
If you were to prioritize, because we are running the stretch to with someone like you, this program should be 2 hours. Let's begin to look at 2-3 things for you that is priority, that you can see are priority for key electoral reforms. As a practitioner, as somebody who has rich background in public administration, what are those key 3 things that you think are key? Because the value of this program is that we are compiling. We are taking what you are saying, we'll look at them, we'll focus group around it, and then we make recommendations through policy papers to National Assembly and to INEC also, and to security agencies.
I think most of these key issues are already in the law. Party registration, registers. They are not effective. INEC do not even oversight them at all.
So you are calling, yes, you are calling for clear oversight
on party register.
Excellent.
When a party does not have a register, when a party members do not pay their dues to fund the party register is paramount at the end of the day, and it's a key. Now, another aspect of the electoral reform I told you the NJC should saddle the issues of recommendation of every person that goes into INEC. You are one of the civil society that kick against the appointment of the INEC people, that their political leaning were clearly clear.
Yes.
You know, another issues that can bring about revolution in terms of our electoral law is independent candidates. Candidates is key, very key, and we should demilitarize our electoral system.
Demilitarize our electoral system. Very many special thanks to our guest, Right Honorable Dr. Nicholas Ossai, former member of the House of Representatives. To our dear listener, thank you for joining us on this edition of the Electoral Reform Hour, brought to you by Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, PACA, with support from MacArthur Foundation. Our engineers and studio manager and our producer. Today we have the privilege of having the engineers on duty, Leonard Silvanus and Jonados Anyanwu. The ICT was manned by Mohammed Sani and my ever dependable studio manager Phinehas Udoeyo, and producer Andohemba Ohin, and supervisor Husseina Akila MNI. My facilitating crew Abu Grace and Jeremiah Nkume. We apologize for the questions we could not take today, but the conversation continues next week, same time, same station. And we especially appreciate the contributions of our founders, MacArthur Foundation. My name is Ezenwa Waguyo, and saying, have a nice evening, rest. Bye for now.